was 22, I became aware of the designer André Courrèges. And all of my favorite fashion designers are dead. And so I found out, I was like, I think he's alive. I think he might be alive. And I want to work with him. And he lives in Paris, and he has a salon on right near the Champs-Élysées. So I set out to intern with him. I was in design school at the time, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get a visa, so I better learn French. So I was like listening to French tapes when I go to sleep and wake up, because that's the best way to learn French. And I would go to sleep and then wake up, and I'd turn it on just as I was waking up, so I'd listen to it on cassette. And then I would go to French films and found out that I fell asleep when I would go to a French film, because I had trained myself to fall asleep to the sound of the French language. And so I had my passport. I had learned French, and I had taken an exam, and they kind of pushed me and said, yeah, you're intermediate level. Okay, just get out of here. And I was like, what is the conditional tense again and all of this? And he's like, it's good, we'll give you the visa. So I am walking onto the plane with all this luggage that I put underneath, well, checked in, and I was carrying all this luggage and like a portable radio and all this stuff because I was moving to Paris, and I was gonna work with André Courrèges. He had to have been like 80 then, but he has to still be working. His big heyday was like 1966 with the mini skirt. It's very futuristic and mod, and like I was so into him. As I'm walking down the ramp onto the plane, I was like, everything kind of click, 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 shut down, and people were passing me, and I realized that I had stopped, and I was like, I don't want to, I'm going to Paris by myself, like 6,000 miles away. I don't know a single person. I know French. I sent portfolios, but I'm not ready. I'm not getting on this plane. So I turned around, and I went back to the checking gate, and I said, can I go tomorrow? And she said, did you check luggage? And I said, yes. And she goes, then you have to get on the plane because your luggage is going to Paris. So I was just like, oh my gosh. So I went in and I had made this whole wardrobe of clothes, like a suit and all the things that I was gonna wear. And I got on the plane and I started crying, and I cried almost the whole way to Paris. The person next to me was like, are you okay? And I'm like, everything's good. Like, I was like reading a book and like pretending I was crying because it was so beautiful. And I get off the plane, get all my luggage, which is like a studio apartment of luggage, and I'm dragging it through Paris. It's July and it's hotter than hell. And everything's dirty but beautiful, and and I get to the Hôtel de Lyon, and I'm like, I'm gonna talk to Courrèges. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna call, should I call him? Or, so I look in the phone book, and I call the salon, or his house of Courrèges. So, Chez Courrèges. Nobody answers, so I decide I'm just gonna go there. So I get my portfolio and I have my little suit on, and I kept having bouts of like, I'm walking down the street, and then I'm just like, my feet are on the other side of the globe from where they were 3 days ago. And I would just start crying again, and then I'd look at a window, and I was just like, oh, it's so beautiful, this like beautiful store window. Like, I was really just like scared shitless. So I walk into the store. I didn't know it was the store, and I was like bonjour, je m'appelle Adam Arnold. I have an interview with Courrèges. And she was like French people, if you speak French to them, they speak to you in English. So it was like, Courrèges isn't here. So, so I'm like, oh, excusez-moi. like, okay, so I walked out and I thought, well, that was dumb. Like, I came all this way. And I noticed there was a little door next to the door, and there was in gold letters, Andre Courage on the door. So I was like, I'm gonna go in there. But the door was locked. So I waited and waited, like, shh, oh, this window's beautiful. Ooh, look at this, blah. And somebody came out of the door, and I just like stuck my foot in the door and walked in, and like immediately it was like a receptionist and these this staircase that went up into the top. So I just like walked in, just looked at her, just like, whatever, and just like walked up the stairs, because I figured I'm already there. I get all the way up to the top of the stairs, the door is locked. Again, there's one little tiny red door. Door is locked. So I'm just like, geez, and somebody comes out, and it's all dark up there, and I just like stuck my foot in. I walked in, and it was all mirrors and white everywhere, and I just like sat down, and there was a telephone, and it started ringing, and there was nobody in there. And so I picked it up, and I was like, bonjour? And they were like, yes, are you Adam Arnold? And I said yes, because I had called ahead of time. I guess they figured it out. And they said, yes, we actually shut down for the month of August. And it is the 12th of July. So why don't you just come back, like, in September? And that was it.